And welcome to the Heat versus the World recap. Our latest game against the Denver Nuggets. This was a wild one to start out with, guys. Seems as though the Nuggets are going to do the same thing they had in the last contest a couple of weeks ago. Getting out to a hotter start. The Miami Heat did score the first couple of buckets, but Denver quickly came back. Um, it's a situation where you know you're gonna have to be on your best behavior when you face the Denver Nuggets because that size, that aggressiveness, that multipleness on offense always going to show his head. As of course, as Aaron Gordon continues to abuse the Miami Heat whenever he gets the opportunity. You did have Jimmy Butler nail another 3-pointer in this game. However, it will prove, not to be exactly all they needed. Again, you want to highlight the fact that Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., whenever they see the Miami Heat, they think that they're Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. But then again, when you think about the Miami Heat, size is what bothers them. Looking at two guys like them, they got size, they were disruptive, which always helps when the Denver Nuggets want to get out on you because their offense is so lethal anyway. So if you're going to give a top 7 rated defensive team the chance to get out in transition, then you're going to find yourself down 16-9 before the first quarter is halfway done. Of course, the Miami Heat offensive end up two continue to highlight itself, making mistakes. Whenever they turn the ball over, they're always going to be in trouble. Their turnover, Caleb Martin, rickety pass. He tends to get himself in trouble by doing too much. That's why you love him, but that's also what gets him in trouble. You like to see Terry getting downhill, but he still hasn't quite figured that out enough. Um, you have to see them continue to develop that rapport, and you just love to see him do his thing whenever he decides that he's gonna be active. Now, of course, it wasn't enough, as we all know the end results, but you love to see that. You want to highlight that. Pause that right there for me, Joel. Notice that's one of the first Joker highlights you see. If you want to run a point counter, if you want to run a point counter on the Joker for this game, that would probably be something worthwhile to do because through all of the negative for the Miami Heat that we saw through this contest, there is a whole lot of positive that you can take from this particular matchup. As the Denver Nuggets have tended to have the Miami Heat's number over the last couple of seasons. So I want to say winning 11 out of the last 12, 12 out of the last 13 after last night. But you want to focus on the Joker's possessions because if you blink, you might miss some of his scoring opportunities because they weren't that great. You can go ahead and run it. So you did notice Jimmy decide to get active when he noticed the Miami Heat was down a little bit, but that's often the problem. You hate to see Jimmy Butler wait until the Miami Heat on what seems like an untenable situation for him to get active. I felt bad for Thomas Brown right there because I thought he was about to get crammed on, way to contest at the rim. You got to highlight the trust that he's gained over the last couple of games as well. Spo throwing him in there for minutes, and he's actually producing in his time. We've screamed and hollered for so long about big man depth, and now when he's getting in there doing his thing, let's not complain about him giving you solid minutes as a backup 5. He's never going to be Bam. Nobody is, but you like what he brought during his time. Now, you will say this. Again, it wasn't so much their stars that killed you last night. What you talk about, Nikola Jokic, as I mentioned, he didn't necessarily go off last night. Or you look at Jamal Murray, who didn't even close the game for them. And we're going to get there, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it was the others that really got the Miami Heat last night. As you notice, Michael Porter Jr. knocked down another 3. As you notice, Reggie Jackson come off and nail another elbow jumper. That's going to haunt you later in the game, so keep that close in mind. Another thing you like from the Miami Heat, on top of that fact that stick to itness to show you that they were willing to come back, as you'll notice, staying right in the game after going down nearly double digits. Bam Adebayo, at a certain point late in the second period, he made this little floater that saw him get active, and you saw him being aggressive and backing people down and taking advantage of his matchups and looking for the passing play that still allowed him to be as aggressive as he would be if he were looking to score the ball. That's that mentality that you love to see for him, and you're glad that it showed up when the Miami Heat needed it the most. They came out in the third quarter looking as though they were going to try to make a push to take over this game. To see Nikola Jokic knock down the 3 is always a good sign because he's a feast of famine type guy. When he's on, he's on. And when he's not hitting, he's not hitting. So that was encouraging. However, these are the type of shots that kill the Miami Heat. And it seems as though when they're playing certain teams, be that the Celtics, be that the Nuggets, these are teams that find a way to make backbreaker shots. Like it's just those situations where every time the Miami Heat seem as though they're getting a leg up, these teams come down and they just make crazy shots, crazy plays, things that drive you nuts. The Miami Heat in transition, not something they do often. Again, you love to see Terry Rozier continuing to get comfortable attacking downhill, but it was noted last night that even he hasn't quite found his spots yet. Rebounding again, something else going to kill the Miami Heat is going to come up later in this game as well. But again, Terry Rozier is key. Whenever he's finding his spots, the Miami Heat have a great opportunity to be in the game. Bam Adebayo from three-point land is something you definitely want to see him do a lot more of. Whenever the opposing center, the opposing defense is sagging off him, giving him that shot, he got to shoot it. Cram it, Bam. You love to see him stay aggressive. As I mentioned, ever since he made the last shot, that floater shot towards the end of the second quarter where he couldn't get anything to go, his confidence seemed to jump, and that was evident throughout the rest of the game. But yeah, to his three-point game, you don't want him going crazy, but you do want him continuing to get comfortable taking those shots. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about that guy? I mean, every time you look up, he just seems to be making a play. I mean, you hate it. You hate it. He just seems to be making a play. Duncan had really struggled to get going too. Thomas Bryant showing himself up, stepping up, earning those minutes as we talked about. This was really a game where the Miami Heat found themselves in it. I mean, they went down big. Aaron Gordon knocking down a shot. Of course, you hate to see that. He doesn't make threes, shooting 29% on the year. But of course, when he comes to Miami, he turns into Scottie Pippen, as I stated. But you love to see the Miami Heat fought to stick around in this game. They kept it close. They kept it tight. As I mentioned, the Denver Nuggets have flat out had their number. At this junction, win the last 12 or 13. And look, everybody's making shots. Christian Braun is making shots. I mean, he hit a shot last night and gave Caleb Martin the two small symbol. Who the heck is Christian Braun? But anyway, the fight, man. This is what you love to see. The fight. Thomas Bryant continuing to earn minutes. But the Miami Heat have to learn when it comes to this Denver Nugget team that they have so many different ways to attack you that you can't rest on your laurels. Be that as the team for possession, when you're Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, you have to consistently be aggressive. Way to get your man's back and follow him up right there, Bam. I mean, Jimmy. But that's basically the epitome, or basically summarizes how the Miami Heat have to play, especially when they're facing the Denver Nuggets. Like, one of their main guys has to be going hard, and that other guy has to be coming right behind him when he messes it up. That was kind of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go too far. Run that play back for me, Joel. Run that play back for me. I got lost in thoughts. Run that play back for me where Bam missed the layup off of the long pass and Jimmy followed up. That literally, yeah, we good right here. We should be good right here. That literally is the epitome of how the Miami Heat have to play this Denver Nuggets team. Like, seriously, hit pause. So when Bam was back, rewind a little bit to when Bam caught the ball. It's three dudes. Pause. It's three dudes. It's three dudes against two. That's how it feels every time the Miami Heat is playing one of the better teams in the league. Not that the other guys don't contribute, but with the way that other teams operate as opposed to the Miami Heat, this is the way you feel. So while those other three guys on the Miami Heat team are always going to be important, always going to do their jobs, it's pretty much the other two or three best players versus these two guys. And when the Miami Heat are going to have a chance to win, this is how it's going to look. I mean, Bam or Jimmy is going to lead, and then Bam or Jimmy has to follow up to make sure that what they're doing works, and everybody else just fills in the gap. You can run it from here. I just wanted to make that point. Again, beautiful follow-up by Jimmy Butler. Something you want to see more of him, just being aggressive. That's aggression. There are times where he looks a little too lackadaisical. You glad that he was able to. I mean, a tough midi jumper. I mean, come on, man. Denver and Boston, I don't know what it is about them. They just love to nail shots against us. Tough shots. Knock down Caleb. Love to see him continue to get his offensive game going. You're going to need that heading to the playoffs and down the stretch of the season. You just hope that the whole team can pull it together. Oh, my God. I hate to see Payton. He tricked off a dunk in Denver last week. So I guess he had to make up for it by throwing one down big right there. But again, man, when you think about Denver, you think about their size. You think about their ability to throw four guys out there that are about 6'8", 6'9", or better and just beast you. And of course, when you're talking about a Miami Heat team that, is bereft of size at times, can oftentimes get killed on the glass, whether it be due to their size or due to their deployment of the zone defense. Anytime you're talking about a team this big, it just kills them. Look at that. Look at that. This is what killed the Miami Heat right there. Rewind it. Rewind it back. Rewind it back. Rewind it back, George. These are the possessions that killed the Miami Heat. Watch this. That's one Reggie Jackson jumper from the elbow. You can let it rock. One Reggie Jackson jumper from the elbow. Miami Heat are now down 7. The Miami Heat come down. Little Terry Rozier flip dip. Okay. He get that one back. The Miami Heat go down 5. Okay. Oh my God. Another Reggie Jackson elbow jumper. The Miami Heat go back down 7 points. Oh, no, not to the elbow. I'm going to step back to the drained it. Now the Miami Heat down 10. At this point, honestly, you knew the game was over. 3 back-to-back Reggie Jackson jumpers. I mean, yeah, Terry answered the first one, but 3 back-to-back. At that point, down 10, 3 minutes left to go in the game. All of the air just kind of, oh my God. Then they get it down to the Joker in the paint to kind of seal the deal, put the cherry on top. Needless to say, the Miami Heat were right in this one with 3.5 minutes to go. Michael Porter Jr. I just don't know what to say about him. He must have got that bacchiotomy. I mean, clearly, he must have got a bacchiotomy. Because we thought the boy won't never be in the league for long the last couple of years. Now it seems like every time he played in Miami, he becomes some weird combination of Tracy McGrady and Larry Bird. But that's neither here nor there. The point of the matter is they were right there in this game until about 3 minutes to go. Down 5 points. But when things matter the most, you have to treat every possession like they're the possession that's going to win or lose you the game. And for 3 straight possessions, you allow Reggie Jackson, who they call big government. I can't quite argue with him. They call him big government because whenever they in a pinch, he bail them out. And down 5 with a chance to lose that game last night, he came and hit 3 of the biggest shots of the game. Again, Murray on the bench. All NBA All-Star Jamal Murray on the bench. Reggie Jackson nailed 3 huge shots. And the Miami Heat had to have known that they were coming. But they couldn't stop them. And that's kind of what sealed the game. The Miami Heat are still fine. What you take confidence from in that game on Wednesday night against the Nuggets is that Bam Adebayo showed you that he still has the confidence and he still has the want to and the know-how to be able to go get some things done. And let's not fret. He held Joker down. Yeah, the Joker still put up good numbers in all 3 major statistical categories, but this was his lowest scoring effort of the season. And that was all courtesy of Bam Adebayo. I'm not encouraged because it was a loss, but I am encouraged because what this shows me is that the Miami Heat decided they're going to play ball for 48 minutes of the game, and that's everybody, including 22, who needs to begin to look engaged for more minutes than he doesn't at this point in the season. They can beat anybody. Again, that last 3 minutes killed them. You hate to see them lose on the Friday. Detroit, right? Yeah.